What's up, my Beardos and Weirdos? Today's video, we're just gonna jump right in. The sign says it's on the end. So my mom works at a grocery store, part-time aside from her full-time job, and she loves it, for the most part. She was standing with a coworker and manager when this happened. Recently, it was Fastnacht Day, and this customer comes in looking for some syrup, specifically for Fastnacht Day. Angry Dude AD.
There is no Fastnacht syrup. The sign says it's on the end and it's not there.
Coworker. I can show you where it should be. They walk to the aisle. AD comes back up front and almost starts shouting.
There is no syrup.
Manager. I'm sorry, sir. There is no syrup left.
The sign says there is.
I'm sorry, sir, but we're sold out. Maybe you should not have come in the day before Fastnacht to buy the syrup. The dude leaves angry. About 20 minutes later, the manager comes back to my mom and the coworker and hands them the sign. The manager says,
The sign no longer says it's on the end.
Well, that's a good quick story. And that'll help us dive right into the subreddit r/TalesFromRetail. So this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to go through a few stories and you can see them on the screen now. Alright, let's dive into the next one.
The law changed. I got a text, but I can't find any evidence of it and deleted my text.
I'm a manager at an electronics retailer. Yesterday I got called to the front checkout to handle an angry customer. She was buying a prepaid Verizon card, but insisted that the law changed recently and she shouldn't be charged the MTS local surcharge, only sales tax. I explained to her that that's not an item that gets a sales tax on, first off, and the surcharge is not something I get to adjust anyways. It's a law. She goes on a tirade, saying she got a text and deleted it, as mentioned in the title, and insists that I call Verizon. My phones don't dial out, and she says she will call them and make me talk to them. The guy on the line doesn't know what she's talking about, and she rips him a new one before hanging up on him. Meanwhile, I find out what she's talking about. Quote, effective immediately, sellers are no longer required to collect state prepaid MTS surcharge of 6.3% on sales of prepaid MTS. However, the local charges are imposed upon prepaid MTS under a separate act, the Local Prepaid MTS Collection Act, which is still in effect. Therefore, sellers of prepaid MTS are required to continue to collect only the local surcharges, when applicable, on their sale of prepaid MTS. The part she was missing was the MTS local surcharge still exists. That's all she was being charged.
No, that's not it. It's only supposed to be sales tax. I'll buy it, but I'm keeping this receipt, and when I find evidence that you're charging me when you shouldn't, I'll be back.
It was a slow day, and I'm glad for the distraction, to be honest. Oh, yeah. Unreasonable customers coming in with half the information they need to make the decision, and they definitely think that they have all the answers. That's hard to deal with, but at least you found some humor in it. And good for you for looking up the evidence. Dumb thief. This is going to be short, but I have to share it. A guy was showing interest in a jacket, but didn't have the money for it, so we explained the benefits of the credit card to him. He applied. Awesome for us. Awesome for him. He gets to buy the jacket. Except, we hear the alarm go off and see him running out of the store with the jacket he hadn't purchased, sensor still attached. This idiot put in his social security number, home address, phone number, everything. And he steals a jacket. We have this idiot's home address. We have a credit card on file for him. I didn't know this level of stupidity existed in the world, yet here we are. I can't imagine someone signing up for a credit card, deceiving a business, and then running out with merchandise that they've stolen. That's ridiculous. I'm actually curious if you ended up following up with this guy, if he provided a fake address, a fake name, fake social. I'm curious. I wonder if a check's run before he got to leave. I fell asleep at work and got caught by a customer. I am the only employee at a small locally owned boutique. We were very slow today, and I have had a horrible sleeping schedule recently. Keep waking up in the middle of the night for no reason and can't sleep for an hour. I've been stressed and felt ill for a while, so I laid down in our dressing room. Usually I do this for a few minutes and start to feel better rested without sleeping. However, this time I fell into a deep sleep. Like the best sleep I've had all week. I woke up because I heard footsteps. I jumped up and went to help the elderly lady. It's hard for me to hide that I was sleeping, especially because I snore and I had those red markings all over my face and hands. She asked me if I was okay, and I informed her that I haven't been sleeping very well, and that I have a little sinus issue, and that I had fallen asleep. She told me not to worry, and she would even leave so I could get back to sleep. Turns out she's a loving grandmother who was also a doctor's assistant back in the day. Would have given her a discount, or something, but the stuff we sell is consignment and can't be discounted without the maker's approval. Who hasn't had a coworker fall asleep at work? Usually they don't last very long though, so I hope I hope you had the opportunity to keep your job even after getting caught falling asleep at work. That's ridiculous.
My husband is a policeman.
This is a story from my dad from a few years back. My dad runs his own shop and he's very nice and polite to customers. So we sell luggage. Most luggage are a set of 3, large, medium, and cabin size. But we have 1 or 2 different ones. It's a set of 4 since it has an XL. The customer bought one, asking for a medium size. Therefore, my dad sold her the regular medium size from the set of 4. She bought happily and left with it. She rolled it for almost 3 hours in the mall and returned. Lady, L.
This is not a medium size.
Dad, D. It is the medium size? In France, mediums are usually around 63 centimeters, which it was.
No, the medium size is this one.
Points to large.
Because it has a size above it.
It's a set of 4, so of course you can find a size above it. But since you said it's not, I will let you change it for another. But please know that I could have refused the exchange because you've rolled it for so long. I will have to sell it with a discount because you rolled it.
Sure, so sell me the medium size.
Points to large. Okay, but you need to pay the difference because this one is more expensive.
What? No, you sold me the wrong one, so I ain't paying.
Miss, this one is more expensive. You need to pay the amount to reach the price.
No, I won't pay this. It's your fault, so you pay it.
As I said, you asked for medium. I sold you the one that is medium. You can see it from the other regular sets. But you don't find it big enough. So I am letting you change it even though you rolled it so much the wheels have traces of glass and meshed rocks. But lady, I'm not giving you a bigger size without payment.
My husband is a cop. If you don't let me walk away with this, I'll call him.
My dad is Asian. He has papers, but like many immigrants, he dislikes the involvement of police force. Nevertheless, at that time, the way she spoke was basically saying it like she was going to call the equivalent of ICE in France on him. Dad, yelling.
Have you heard? Her husband is a policeman, so she can walk away without paying. Tomorrow, Sarkozy's wife comes in and I'm gonna give her my business.
At that time, Sarkozy was the president in France, but the simple fact he yelled that made the lady pay and leave without another word. Honestly, if I was in this spot, I would have told her to call her husband. After all, I would have loved to copy his badge number and talk to him about it at the station. That is, if her husband actually was a policeman. Side note, lots of policeman families or friends of policemen feel like threatening to call their police friend is a good call. It isn't. I wish people could just go into shops and buy things and then understand that when they want a different thing, oftentimes that different thing has a different price. It's not unreasonable for a store to charge you a different price for a different item. I mean, he could have said, yours is slightly less purple, this one's slightly more purple, thus it costs more. That's fine. You could have argued that and said, based on color, it shouldn't have been costing more. But instead, it's, you get more material with this bag, it is larger, you can carry more things with it, thus it is a larger charge. Like, obviously, you're going to have to pay more. And if you paid less before, you got a slightly smaller bag at a slightly less price. Ridiculous! Also, don't threaten to call the police. That's very silly. Are you literally just ignoring me? Fuel clerk. The man comes up to my window, doesn't respond to me greeting him, sets a Coke on the counter thing, and just looks back down at his phone, not only ignoring my existence, but avoiding looking at me at all. Will that be it for you? No response. Maybe he didn't hear me for some reason. Will that be it for you tonight? Still no response. Not even any form of eye contact or acknowledgement. Just standing there looking at everything in existence but me. I'm getting pretty offended, but trying to remain customer servicey, so I raise my voice to a low-key holler like I'm talking to an older person.
Is that going to be it for you tonight?
He finally looks up for maybe a second, like he just noticed someone was in front of him, and ever so slightly nods yes in my general direction while typing on his phone, and blatantly ignoring me. Alright, it'll be 2:06. No response. At this point, I just want him gone. Did you want debit or credit? No response. He's getting credit. Before I even pass him the receipt, he's walking away without saying a word to me. Good riddance. That's frustrating. It's frustrating to want to work in customer service and provide good service, and you have someone that comes up to you and just completely ignores the fact that you are trying to do your job, and it sounds like you're trying to do it well. You just want to give this guy the item that he's trying to purchase, and he can't even look up from his phone to talk to you? That's... Regardless of what they're focused on, a book, a magazine, you still have to talk to the person that you want to purchase something from. This is ridiculous. Good for you for yelling at him. Thanks for nothing. I work as stock and cashier at a small drugstore close to where I live, and this happened a few months ago. We got hit by a pretty bad snowstorm a day before this happened, and because of that, the roads were icy and dangerous to drive on. I was working register in the morning, and we didn't get the newspapers as we normally did because of the roads. Around 2 in the afternoon, an older gentleman walks up to the register and just stares over where the newspapers usually are for a few seconds and looks up at me. Him. Where are the newspapers? Me. They didn't come in because of the roads. They must have been delayed and won't be coming in. He just said, oh, and looked around for like 5 seconds and said to me, thanks for nothing. I went completely red in the face and had a total loss for words. Then he just left. I just said, under my breath, you're welcome. Nothing crazy. Makes me chuckle every now and then. That's unfortunate. I can really empathize with someone who's, it sounds like possibly they're retired and their one thing that they look forward to in the day is just getting the paper so they can see what's happening in the world, and then they go to the place that typically has the paper, their regular walk from home, and when they get there they see that there's no paper and they have no way to follow their daily routine of catching up on the news, and if I was there and I wanted to go one extra mile, I probably would have taken the guy's number and said, hey, I'll let you know when they come in, but, you know, might not have worked with his schedule to come and pick them up later. Oh well, good story, OP. Alright, my Beardos and Weirdos, this was our first r/Tales from Retail. I had a lot of fun going through this, and I really felt like I could connect with some of the OPs in this, because I have definitely worked customer-facing jobs, as I'm sure you have as well. And even if you haven't, I'm sure you've been in line at stores and seen people dealing with this sort of garbage all the time, and it's crazy how prevalent this is. My only hope with doing stories like this is that people will hear them and they'll smarten up, and next time they won't quite act like this, or else they'll realize they are going to get themselves Reddit famous. Alright, my Beardos and Weirdos, thanks again to everyone who's been subscribing lately. It's awesome to have you aboard. Let me know in the comments below what you like about these videos and what you want to see changed in the future ones, or if you have any Reddit pages you want me to read through. And thanks to everyone who's been submitting stories lately. Those comments, the really long comments, I think are going to be turned into a video where I'm going to go through everyone's personal stories. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next video, where we take it one topic at a time.